My name is Dakota Frandsen. I was born in a small town. Grew up, fell in love, started a business, and followed a path that would allow me to find my dreams. To you, I may seem like just the average Joe. The only thing odd about me is the fact that I'm almost 7 feet tall. But trust me when I say that my life is very weird. When I was 12 years old, something happened to me. And I got a glimpse into worlds much larger than our own. After I was brought back from the dead by none other than an archangel. Just before the angel brought me back, he introduced me to a little girl who may be my daughter from the future. I walk this path to try to understand my story and to help as many as I can along the way. With it, came adventures that are beyond imagination. Some that may even take me to the stars themselves. I'll understand if you don't believe me. Had I not been one to witness it all, I would think that somebody was going insane. But just give me a little bit of time to tell you my story, and you'll see why they call me the specialist of the strange.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dakota Frandsen. I am the one and only specialist of the strange. And my God, 2021 certainly keeps getting crazier and crazier, hasn't it? Well, I am truly sorry. I want to apologize to you all right now that I have not been keeping up with this show. Why is that? Because I've been busy as hell and cannot, for the life of me, can't for the life of me get my schedule in order to prevent these things from happening, but we are going to be working on that. Starting with this episode. The time of this recording is 1:30 in the afternoon on March 28th, 2021. It's been over a month since my last entry. I want to use this episode in particular to discuss everything that's really going on. To discuss future plans for this show, for my YouTube channel, what's going on with some of my other businesses, what's going on with parachills, things like that. Because it's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind. And while the insanity ensues, it's not hard for your favorite giant to just get lost in the noise. So, we're going to bring everything in. we're gonna bring everything in. And I'm going to tell you all what is going on. Which we will be starting with news out of Legion M, one of my film studios. Now I'm a shareholder in. We're going to start with news from there. Then we're going to continue on after this commercial break. Welcome back. For those of you who don't know, I am a shareholder within at least 11 different companies. And why is that? Well, it was to try to expand my empire, expand my horizons, put stakes in just about everything that I've had a personal interest in. I'll be honest. There's entertainment, there's things regarding helping mental health related crises, there's even restaurants and space travel under my name. Sorry if it seems like it keeps pausing, I'm getting myself distracted here. If you've seen Mandy, The Shape of Water, Colossal with Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis, the latest one we've put out is Arch Enemy with Joe Manganiello. You've seen some of my work. You've seen Legion M. Now, is my name officially tied to these? Kinda. It's because I own stake in the company, and my picture is actually part of the opening mosaic that plays in front of a lot of our movies now. Anyway, Legion M has actually quite a few new updates. Being that this is one of the first ever companies that was completely built by fans in Hollywood, it's shaken up quite a bit. Yesterday, at the time of recording this, there was a online auction in which we partnered with George R.R. Martin with to benefit the Stagecoach Foundation. We also have another movie that some of you may be interested in. Some of you may have seen a meme that popped up online that talked about Robert Smalls from the American Civil War. He was a former slave that took over a Southern ship, a Confederate ship, and sailed it to the Union. Yeah, here it is. This guy was born into slavery in 1839. He steals a Confederate warship at 22, disguising himself as the captain and using code signals to get past enemy forts. He managed to escape to freedom and bringing his enslaved crewmates and their families. He's the guy that helped convince Abraham Lincoln to let black soldiers enlist in the Union Army. He fought in 17 battles and was made captain of the very ship he stole. He buys his former master's mansion, served 5 terms in Congress, reunited with his mother, and basically for a while a meme started circulating. It was roughly around the time of the latest iteration of the Black Lives Matter movement that it's guys like this we need to focus on a bit more, who clearly could kick some ass if he needed to. It's these types of stories we need to put out there in order to properly inspire the population. And before anybody tries to make any fucking remarks, This is not a race thing, okay? I don't give a crap about who you are, okay? Man, woman, white, black, blue, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't care. So those of you who try to use these fucking race baits that the media has been portraying out lately as an excuse to try to justify pieces of shit who attack children. Fuck you. That's all I gotta say. You want half of you, I'm not even convinced half of you actually want change that you're trying to advocate for. You're just trying to use this as an excuse to destroy. And yes, times of frustration. Yes, there's legitimate problems. And don't you dare try to say I ignore the problems. What you see on social media is not someone's full story, you idiots. And this is the start of change. This is how you inspire. You do what is right. Not because you want to just start problems. And Legion M is the start of that. It's changing history. There's also a comic book series called The Gray Area that's also going to be adapted into a feature film. Yeah, I know. Weird segue to go blowing up like that, but that's how I feel, okay? I'm going to be honest. It takes calling people an idiot, telling them to shut the fuck up for 5 fucking seconds in order to actually get the point across, the message across that you're trying to say, in order to try to be a voice of reason in this mess. But no, people just want to rebel just because they want to. We choose to hate each other for reasons that we have no control over. And those who are truly corrupt take advantage of our ignorance. I've said it before and I'll say it 1,000 times more. So let's get down to business. We have opportunities to take on space travel. To go back to the moon and beyond. We may have contact with extraterrestrial civilizations in our horizon. You know, we're a species that advocates self-destruction. And which is why one of my business investments came into focus. Fisher Wallace Laboratories. They have a couple devices that are supposed to help with symptoms of PTSD, insomnia. Basically, well, you just wear this device on your head for a few minutes before you go to bed. And everyone who's tried it, even the lesser potent version of it that's anybody can get by going on Amazon, you feel the effects immediately. It's essentially hacking your brain. And which is something else that may need to be considered in the focus of the supernatural. There's, for those of you who don't know, I joined Parachills back in December and became the executive director for the company. Which means I'm in charge of helping oversee all investigations, aiding and running the company as a whole. I'm also a shareholder. Yeah. This is a company that wants to try to create a full-time salaried positions within the paranormal. It doesn't stand there now, but that is the long-term goal. And there's been a number of concerns, a number of fights that have been coming up from people that have honestly been acting like a bunch of stubborn-ass teenagers. And this brings up my point that I want to make, especially since we're still dealing with the pandemic. Oh my god, I feel so stuffy. Sorry, my allergies have just been fucking insane lately. Anyway, the focus of mental health, domestic violence, is something that has been widely ignored since the pandemic from people who, quite frankly, just didn't take it all into consideration when we started locking everything down. Since we have so much more better understanding of physical health than mental health. And how can we expect any better to happen when people won't reach out? So we can try to so those in positions that can aid them can try to figure out what's going on. How can we? How can we trust when there are people out there who call the police on their significant others? Because they got into a fight. Tried to say that they abused him, but them turn around and say, oh, I don't want him to go to jail. I just want him to stop arguing with me. Fucking children. But those are my points. There are so many. We are becoming such a species of self-destruction that we are ignoring the potentials to truly make something beautiful happen. And yeah, I'm coming across a bit aggressive about it, but I know a lot of my friends at Parachills would agree, especially after this latest month of drama. And it absolutely blew my mind because these people were ignoring. And I'll be honest, because I do hold the position I do, I get some of the first-hand information about some of the more exciting opportunities coming up. These people were allegedly so dedicated to a passion but can't function together in order to make it happen. They allowed for a military style of running things. When, quite frankly, the military doesn't even know what the hell's going on anymore themselves. And people who have already been feeling outcasted for some reason in their life tend to approach these types of fringe groups, for lack of a better word, in order to try to find acceptance, in order to try to make connections with other human beings, with people who would get the struggles, who would understand what was going on in their head. And it honestly irritated me to the point that I contemplated quitting. But I also had to reiterate to myself that this has been something that is blowing up beyond everyone's expectations, and I'm not the only one saying this. Parachills has become something more. And I also had to remind myself, when is another opportunity to literally fulfill everything I have ever dreamed of going to come about? This is a shot to create something better. Something that I've been trying to do in all my pursuits. Hell, I even bought into a freaking private jet company. Or a private jet chartering service, I should say, because apparently some people are getting a little confused about the way I've been wording things. I don't know. And I can tell you this because, well, the CEO himself announced these because I, along with the Division of Cryptozoology, UAP, and Historic, will be discussing and hosting a new show on the Parachills YouTube channel that was demonetized by some of these drama-invoking individuals. Could have had some sort of acronym right there. But we'll just walk past it now. Yeah. The show's going to be titled Tales from the Cryptid to discuss various different cryptozoology aspects. But what a lot of people don't realize is that several historic locations, and their UFOs, spirits, it all intertwines. And it's a discussion that I've been trying to get across to some of these people, but they don't seem to be listening to me. That even though there's exotic reports, it'll say like Bigfoot's having some sort of interdimensional abilities, or even being a flat-out extraterrestrial himself, which is a scary fact when you think about it, that if that's actually the case, that means there's a planet of 9-foot-tall gorillas out there. Anyway. Or they have tried to suggest that even though there's DNA evidence that proves that the Loch Ness Monster may in fact be nothing more than just a fucking giant eel, an almost 30 to 40 foot long eel, which yes, can happen. We try to ignore it because there's people that get disappointed that it's not potentially a plesiosaur. People's own cognitive bias tears apart the supernatural. Which brings another point that I honestly want to see more approach taken into. And I know it's going to offend some people. We need to demystify the paranormal. And I'll explain why after the commercial break. And we're back. So what do I mean by demystify the paranormal? Well, we need to take out all this humbo-jumbo spiritual side of it. Yes, it's a huge factor and can actually play into what's actually going on. It may actually be a good starting point, yes, but we have so many people who are taking advantage that this is such an unknown and unquantifiable field that they are taking advantage of people. And what am I meaning by this? I'm going to give you a most recent example that happened to me, okay? There was this woman who offered me a bit of a reading, okay? A little bit of a mini reading. And what she said was pretty spot on. It was kind of vague, but she was pretty accurate in her assumptions. Now, I try to approach these with a bit of skepticism, but the main thing that came across that helped me, that I shouldn't say helped me, but put me into a mindset that, maybe this one's legit. Maybe there's something to this one. The fact that EVPs were coming through during our conversations. But then, it turns out she was a backstabber. And no, I did not date this woman, for those of you who automatically assume that's what's going on. Even though, I'll be honest, Jennifer Love Hewitt's Melinda Gordon, I would kind of consider that to be my perfect woman. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I got to thinking about the reading after I found out some more information about the type of person this woman was. And she had a background in where she would be trained in reading people's reactions, reading people in general, because she had a long background in law enforcement. And you're probably hearing some noise in the background now. I'm going to get to, that's my next exhibit to this. Just as an example, this is my next exhibit. But this woman had enough of a background to where she could easily guess what's going through my head. Everything that came out of her mouth, none of it was something that anyone who really could pay attention could probably figure out about someone like me. I'm just going to say it. That's what it was. Exhibit B. Some of you may know about a necrophonic app. I honestly didn't know about this app until I happened to join Parachills. And that is the noise you're hearing right now. This is something that a lot of people also... I've noticed that there's a lot of people that try to say, oh, it taps into higher dimensions. No, it's a sound bank on a phone. Be more concerned about the fact that the logo has a demon sigil in it. Okay, and if you listen carefully, I have this running because there was a live show that I may have to post the recording to on here so you all can have a listen and have my commentary on it, so to speak, for next week's episode. What was I saying? Something's trying to come through and it's throwing me off. Anyway. People try to say that because there's so many responses that come out of the necrophonic app in itself, that it somehow taps into higher dimensions that, like a SB7, which is essentially a radio that clicks through, or an SB11, or both radios that click through radio frequencies in order to try to pick up noise. And try to pick up voices from spirits that they can manipulate in order to relay a message of what's going on. That's Exhibit B. Exhibit C. Saging. I cannot stress this enough, people. I don't care what kind of candles and kumbaya you subscribe to. Saging is nothing more, essentially, than applying bug spray. You're going to have to reapply it. It may help keep some of the smaller pests at bay. But if you try using that crap on a fucking grizzly, it's either going to look at you funny, or if it irritates his eyes, it's going to maul you. And some demons out there, ones that I pray to God that you never encounter, they're essentially like Godzilla. Spirits, if you can hear me, am I right in that comparison? If any spirits can hear me, can you validate this? That a strong enough entity, Sage will do nothing. Am I correct? Yes or no? Okay. Sounded like there was a response. I think something's trying to make fun of me. Anyway. I'm just saying, we need to demystify the paranormal because people are risking themselves. They're putting their own cognitive biases in situations that they think are going to be perfectly harmless, but in reality are going to get them killed. And that's why I want to join Parachills, because dealing with supernatural, if you know what you're doing, you can potentially answer questions of creation itself. I have recordings that indicate that I am fucking talking to God directly. And no, not just, dear God, can you please send me $1 million? No. Anybody can talk to God through prayer. Call me when he actually starts talking back. Then you'll have my interest. In fact, can we get a Yahweh through here? Yahweh, you want to say something? Michael the Archangel, are you here? Gabriel, how about you? Your name came up last night. Ooh. John, I just heard John. John, how are you, my friend? Now, y'all could be thinking that I'm completely nuts and making that up, but you listened carefully. You listen carefully. Something's coming through this app. I'm going to cut it off right there so I can focus, because I'm getting a little bit of excitement. Woo. Dealing with the supernatural may answer the questions to creation itself, may help solve mysteries long forgotten by man, by simply asking the individuals in question who perished from it. I have a experiment going on as we speak, meant to contact beings from other worlds. And it's going to be turned into a movie on Paraflix here soon. And those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. You can check out all the links on my flow page that should be in the description to find out more about Paraflix. You can watch the Paraflix cunt. Oh dear God. Paraflix cut. The Paraflix cut. Oh my God. The Paraflix cuts. The hunt for Olivia to see exclusive footage never before seen. And maybe get a hint at the next movie, Bonds of Beyond. Maybe you'll catch a glimpse at my new book that's going to be coming out through Parachills publishing service, Publix. Ooh. Maybe you'll get to see hints at some new projects that I have coming up with Parachills, like The Hunt for El Dorado, or a venture into Japan's Suicide Forest. And you can catch all the updates on this podcast, as the Specialist of the Strange radio show will be utilized from here on out as an audio journal. Yeah, I think that would be a good call. To which I bid you adieu. My name is Dakota Frandsen. Be sure to go into the link, like, follow, subscribe to all your favorite social media channels. Look up Parachills, Paraflix, as well as catch yourself some awesome deals in my flow page. You can also go on my Amazon wish list and send me stuff that's on there. And your name, if included in the gift receipt, can be featured as a sponsor. On my website and whatever movie that I have personal control over. Which could mean a venture into space itself. Oh yeah, I was going to update about that. Starting later this year, your boy, the specialist of the strange, is going to be affiliated with 5 separate rocket launches meant to put a time capsule on the moon, to put a warning sigil, a healing sigil, a prayer sigil that connects directly to the angels on the moon in order to help ward off demonic threats all over the globe. Yeah. To set up to help expand the internet further into outer space in order to help the growing commercialized space tourism industry. And if everything goes well, by year 2023, I'll be flying up to space myself to the dark side of the moon. It's my understanding that that venture will take about a little over a week. Take about 3 days to get to the moon. We're going to fly around it. Then 3 days to get back to Earth. Which definitely be interesting. So, like I said, this podcast is going to be utilized for my audio journals to hear from all my adventures. Be sure to look out for my new book when it comes out. Watch all my social media pages. Subscribe to Parachills in order to see updates from me and my friends in regards to the Tales from the Cryptid show. A lot of good things are coming on the horizon, my friends. So let's take this journey together.